Good morning. Today you can see that I have two cards here on the screen, and I am bringing you the energy of the disseminating moon, which is what we are in today. And you can see I focus on what is working, where we start to get a sense of collective, where we are no longer just flinging our arrows, if you will, as indiscriminately. We are now starting to get focus. And so we end up in this state of disseminating phase. And this is the first phase, or the waxing. And here the cycle wanes and begins to die down. So we've gone from a fullness to now dying down. Still close to the apex, for sure. And the opposition, and there's great excitement about sharing information. So we've had an opposition to the sun and we want to get out there. So, like the gibbous phase, the need to sell, share, or present what we've built. Selling that information is the prime directive of a disseminating moon. It's also the stage where we evaluate everything. What is wasting? What is not? We want our time and energy used wisely. The distillation phase, in fact, has begun. And something that is held back or removed moves into the last quarter phase, where new direction requiring the best of the past cycle begins. So right now we're in the disseminating phase, and then our next phase will be distribution. The disseminating phase happens between 225 degrees and 270 degrees. It is best behind the sun. So it is gaining in wisdom, if you will, and coming to a place where eventually everything that has been learned gets organized, and it is a cycle. So the moon at this time, this disseminating moon, is in Taurus. And Taurus is about dependability, stability, and is also our second house of income. So largely about work. It's about the merchant being able to plow the fields, harvest the rewards, and sell at market. Yet we are in a Taurus state where we are at 28 degrees today in the disseminating, meaning it's rolling over into Gemini. And what might that mean? Well, we do have Cancer in Mars in Cancer. So whatever the moon is doing is important because it is going to affect the moon. Where right now the moon is in the seventh house of partnerships, where largely we're kind of humming along, but at 28 degrees, it suggests that we're coming to a close in terms of all things Taurian, and now stepping into the world of information and Gemini. And with Jupiter in detriment, what might be a possibility? And it is on the cusp of the eighth house, exactly 21 degrees. And Jupiter is the eighth house cusp is 21. The Jupiter itself is 21, and it is in retrograde. What might it want us to recognize in that eighth house energy? Well, we've kind of come upon a catastrophe, if you will, legally, where information right now is being dropped. And it is going to lead something, somewhere, someone to imprisonment, likely. There's some things there that are really very difficult. And it will also, as you can see, deplete someone's fortune. It will transform someone's fortune. Now, I'm going to be doing these moon cycles so that we may all have a sense of peace And our moon cycle, being the fastest moving, does the best job of explaining to us the rhythms of the moon. And at this time, the moon is in Taurus, getting ready to move in Gemini. So those of you who have moon in Taurus, this last few days probably, or this last day, probably feels like a relief. It is getting ready to go into Gemini, where it's going to be a little bit more, if you will, kind of nervous and a bit uncomfortable in the shadow of the fourth house. So as we move forward, the next phase of the moon that I will be bringing you, as this is the disseminating phase, will be the last quarter phase, where we will talk about what we do in that stage. And with that, please do consider like, share, and subscribing, and leave a comment. What is your moon in? If you will, leave a comment about what sign your moon is in and what house it is in. I will write back and provide you a bit of a statement about what that moon sign actually means, given its house and sign position. And with that, I thank you so much for joining me. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you so much.